We are live, hopefully. Oh, yep, looks like. Hello, welcome to Live Coding with me, Rachel, who forgot to tweet about it. Let me tweet about it real quick. How y'all doing? Hopefully good. Hopefully you're having a good time right now. And staying healthy, getting lots of sleep, hydrating my tea, eating good food. All good things. Sorry, I didn't take my strainer out of my tea. I am tired today. So, those of you who were here for the last stream may remember that we had a little bit of a bottleneck with our reverse geocoding. So basically, we wanted to we have things. Let me say the correct words. We have latitude and longitude values. Some of them are inside the United States. Some of them are outside. For the purposes of this particular project, I want all of my data points to be from inside the United States. And the big problem with that is that because we have the latitude and longitude, we need to find some way to take those numbers that are locations and turn them into country data. And we've been doing that using the wait for IPython to start. And we've been doing that using a library. Nope, this is the wrong one. Pretty sure. Yep, that is definitely the wrong one. There we go. Is this what I called it? Yes, this is definitely the right one. And we've been using that using the geocode not geocode library. Those are different libraries, as I discovered to my chagrin. And the big problem with that is that it's slow, or rather the way that I'm doing it is particularly slow. So we have about, I want to say 37,000, 45,000, tens of thousands of rows. And the way that I have been doing the data coding, whatnot, 47,000, there we go, is that I am... Did I just lose it? Did I fail to save this and my computer crashed and I lose it? I don't think I did. Olawele. I came late to the party but glad to be here. Ah, welcome. A little sip of tea. I am tired today. I've just been tired lately. It's pretty close to summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and I have been awoken by the sun earlier than I would have otherwise. So, y'all had a different idea. Do we care about Hawaii and Alaska? I mean, I care about Hawaii and Alaska. I definitely... I don't know that Hawaii should be part of the United States, but it is right now. And my thoughts were that instead of looping through and looking up the country data for every single point, what we could do is we could just draw a box and throw out any data points that are below the tip of Florida or above the tip of Maine and east of... I guess also probably the tip of Maine, and then west of, I don't know, Baja? Is that the westmost point? I know the westmost point is actually in Florida. Not Florida, is actually in Alaska. So we could just, like, draw a box around it and do it very quickly and simply, and it would be much easier than what I'm trying to do now, which is check for points inside a geographic location and doing that point by point. And the loop that I had started at the end of the last session, I ran for pretty much the whole session, and Also the rest of that day. And by the time that I was ready to go to bed in the evening and turn off my computer, it was still going. So I think that I was maybe doing it in not the most time efficient way. And we were using Append, which should be... Oh, sorry, I haven't turned on this fan. That should be better. Remove the background noise. Which should be O of n time complexity. But I guess it just like takes a long time to do each of them, and you know. So that's a problem. And also I seem to have lost the code that I was using to do that. Am I just... Is it this? Yeah, I think this is what I was doing. No, but I created a new empty data frame and was appending onto it, and it looks like that code has disappeared. So I've definitely lost some work, but that's okay, because it was bad work to begin with. And the reason that we're doing this is we're doing this for data cleaning before we start our classifier. I guess I could just not do this step, but that seems like shoddy work that is absolutely going to come back and bite me in the butt at some point in the future. So, yeah. Prompt says, watching this while doing laundry, I need nice clean clothes for ACL. Oh, nice. Yeah, ACL is happening. SIGDial, Raza actually has a booth at SIGDial, which is all online, so if you're there, come by and say hi. Obviously, I'm not there right now because I'm right here. And then I actually have a talk on Sunday in the Widening NLP workshop. I'm giving one of the keynotes. It's already been recorded, so you can watch the recording. I guess I'll also be watching the recording. It's weird to see myself give a talk. So, how can we make this more efficient? So we have lost the inefficient code, which is a little bit frustrating. Here is the... So you can see that we still have the order that we ran things in originally, and I believe we're in a new session, so I'm going to have to import everything again. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, so that's... Let's see how long this takes. I think that's a good first step, so we'll use the time it magic. Is it 2 percentage signs? So this should tell you, it should run a cell multiple times and tell you how long it takes to run on average. All right, 680 milliseconds times 47,000, give or take. Is that too many zeros? That is too many zeros. And we're just going to divide that by milliseconds. So 1,000 will be number of seconds, and then we want to divide that by, I want to get a more efficient, accurate, I want to get something I can interpret a little bit better, so that's seconds. So then, planes, so then 360 should get us hours, right? Seconds, minutes, hours. 88 hours. Okay, yeah, so it's just slow is the big problem. This lookup process is slow, and we are not going, even in like linear time, it ain't gonna be fast. So it's not the append that's causing the issues. It is in fact the lookup itself. We can't handshake because of Corona. Yep. Instead do namaste. Pranav says, I'm not sure if it's live tweeting if the talk's recorded. I think it's still live tweeting, because you can like live tweet a TV show and that's not live. Like the actors aren't doing it while you're doing it, unless it's like one of those like when they do Broadway plays and stream it. Talked about ACL 3 times. What's that? Oh, okay. So the Association for Computational Linguistics is the main professional research organization for people working in natural language processing and computational linguistics. They have a number of conferences, which are the premier research venues for computational linguistics. And the biggest one is the ACL, the Association for Computational Linguistics annual meeting. And that is happening like now-ish. fish this weekend, next little bit. It was supposed to be in Seattle, which would have been great because I could have seen all my friends and not have to travel anywhere. It's good that it is online. I would prefer that nobody gets sick for this. Other conferences, they do EMNLP, NACL, which is a North American one, which I believe isn't happening this year because ACL is happening in North America. So it's a variety of conferences. Also, their proceedings, like the publication venue, is available for free online. And if you are writing a paper and you cite the archive version of something that's available in the ACL anthology, I will, and if I'm reviewing it, I will mention it and be like, fix it. You done scholarship poorly. Okay, so the geocoding is just going to be slow. Yeah, when I was talking about the conference. So, also it looks like Twitch is just not loading, and I guess I'll just deal with that. Yeah. So, the big problem right now seems to be the geocoding itself. So making this more efficient, it looks like it's a lookup thing. I think it's in the library. I think the library is just pretty slow. Let's see, because the thing that we timed was not my function. So my function is not making it worse. Well, you know what? That's an empirical question. Let's find out if my function is making it worse. If my function is making it worse, we went to seconds and then minutes and hours. Okay, so it is going to be 88 hours just using this base function. Yeah, I think we might need to do my dumb solution instead of working on this. So they are using, I believe they're using KL trees. So this should already be a fairly efficient search solution. And I don't think that I can improve this library, the geocoder library and the time complexity of just the search function, which it looks like is the bottleneck. But just really quickly, make sure that it ain't me what's making the problems. So we're going to do data is what we called it. It was a bad name that I chose, but I did. And then let's just quickly time it and see if it's significantly slower. Ugh. Nope, that's a person's name. Time it. There we go. Did I not? No. You know what would help is if I ran that first. Can the index and slice boolean? Oh yeah, I remember us having this problem in the past. It's like boolean. Yeah. Yeah, let's see if this works. I think it's not going to be worth fixing, basically. I don't think that what I did made it significantly slower than it is already, just because of the nature of the problem. So, how much do I care about data cleanliness for this? How much do I care about really genuinely restricting this to places in the United States only? Not that much, I think. Arshad says, Pandas and slow, can you input the latitude and longitude manually and see what time it takes? That is an excellent question. Let's do that. My guess is that it's not going to be much slower, but we can find out. We want the latitude first. Although I guess if you flip the latitude and longitude, you still get answers. Yeah, I think it's the search that's the bottleneck. Yep. It's slower. It's slower. So... yeah, it's the search. I think we're just going to have to not to do the search for data cleaning. I think that If I cared deeply, it would be more important. But A, this is for a fun dialect quiz app. Also, if you didn't know what we're working on basically the New York Times dialect quiz in Chatbot Farm. Nope, that's a blog post about the quiz. There we go, this guy. So you answer a bunch of questions, 25 questions in this case. We've reduced it a little bit because of, I don't think some of the questions translate particularly well to voice, which eventually I want this to be a voice assistant. And you answer a bunch of questions. In the end, it says where in the United States people talk most like you. And actually, I'm wondering right now, did they include... Let me pull this up. Yeah, okay, so it looks like they do include Alaska and Hawaii. So this is what the results are, and they returned the top 3 cities where they speak most like you based on your answers to these questions. And then Alaska and Hawaii are included. We're probably just going to return the top 3 cities. Do we need to do data cleaning? Yes, because we're doing spatial models, which means that points that are, well, okay, so if we're doing spatial models, outliers aren't actually all that important, because, so a model we're going to go with right now is k-nearest neighbors, and I think that we can actually probably just not do data cleaning and see how it works. Because for k-nearest neighbors, if you have outliers, they don't have a lot of neighbors. So people are more... If you have a small cluster of outliers, then you should be able to get classifications in there. If you have a single outlier, it shouldn't affect classifications all that much, because we're going to do majority vote. Yeah, let's just not do data cleaning. I know that the title of this video is... increasing reverse geocoding is what the title of the video is. I think we're not going to do it. We did a lot of that last time, and what I've discovered is that it is slow. So I am going to continue doing reverse geocoding when somebody uses the assistant. So when you go through the assistant, you answer all the questions. We're going to take that data, your input. We're going to use that as input to our classifier, which is what we're going to train now. And then at the end of that, your classification will be latitude and longitude. And then we'll use reverse geocoding to return cities and states from that. So I think that's what we're going to do. Top 3 is going to be a little rough. Maybe we just do top 1. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're just going to do top 1 latitude and longitude. And the one place where it might be weird is where the instance where you have a neighbor that's very far away, a couple neighbors that are very far away and one that's a little bit closer, and you end up with sort of like dragging the point pretty far. Hopefully we won't run into that. Okay. Sorry, I'm just talking through things and getting my brain up and going for the morning. It's morning for me. I know for many of you it is evening and you are winding down, but I've only had 1 cup of coffee today and I felt a little jittery, so I've switched to tea. And it's very good. So, I think I've talked myself out of doing reverse geocoding entirely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this I want to keep in, this I want to keep in, note. I tried filtering points, what looks like about 60 there-ish. Trying to be, it's PIP3 compatible? I forget which one it is. 16, 62? It's a number. I sometimes have trouble remembering random numbers and names, but found that the search was a big time bottleneck. So I'm just ignoring So I'm just using all points for now. Robbie says, you're 100% sure your viewers are from South Asia. They might be from the US or Europe. Yeah, so I'd say the largest sort of geographic group of folks are from India. Actually, I can tell you what time zone our users are from. So if you haven't seen blog, the Raza blog, we did a survey about a month ago. We launched it asking just Raza developers about things that would be helpful for me in particular and also the larger community, and the survey results are actually out. So you can check this out. They just went out. I haven't tweeted about it yet. And one of the things that we discovered is that community, very global, but about a third of Raza developers are from India, and then 11% from the US, and then 9% from Germany. So just playing the odds, I think there's probably a lot of folks from India here. Also, we weren't able to unfortunately share the raw data just because there was enough diversity in the answers that we couldn't anonymize with a sufficiently large K to make me happy for K anonymization. So we're sharing the question by question breakdown instead. What was I doing? I tried filtering points, so I'm just using all points for now. And I think it should be okay, again, because we are using a method that's fairly robust to outliers, namely K nearest neighbors. If I switch to a method that's less robust to outliers than KNN, we'll go back. I will say one thing that I was reflecting on recently, because I've been at Raza almost 6 months now, a little over, roundish, is that I've spent far, far, far more time on this project wrestling with this classifier than actually building the assistant. Like, the building the assistant part was fairly straightforward. Things that I've struggled with, Kubernetes, big old struggle bus there, Alexa and the Alexa interface, because we tried a voice tutorial, and the big problem that we ran into there, well, I mean, currently the big problem is that we used ngrok, and the Alexa team blacklisted ngrok without telling anybody, so if you're using ngrok with Alexa and you're wondering why it's not working, that's why. And then the data coding is another big thing that we've struggled with, because when I originally got the data, I didn't have a data dictionary, so I just sort of guessed what each of the numbers corresponded to each answer in the multiple choice quiz, and I was wrong, and our classifier gave nonsense results. So we're fixing that now, and then yeah, building the classifier. So we've spent far less time actually building assistant bits than doing the machine learning part of it. Yes. So I'm just gonna note that this is way too slow to do. It was 47K times. Could I multi-thread it? Maybe. Do I want to sink the time into it? Absolutely not. Nope, sure don't. Yep, all right, so we can get rid of all this. Peace out. Goodbye. Rachel, you just threw away basically everything you did last week. Yep. Sometimes you do that. Okay, so we're not doing this. We're not gonna remove for reference. Here's how to get we will need this again in the future, which is why I'm not deleting this once we get the assistant answers back. So we're not actually going to be doing any data cleaning. What we all are going to be doing instead is one-hot encoding. So why am I doing one-hot encoding? So if you're unfamiliar, one-hot encoding is where if you have data with multiple levels, so a categorical variable with multiple levels, like this one. So here we have, do you say lawyer such that the first syllable rhymes with boy, or law, so lawyer, lawyer. And here we have 3 answers. We have other, we have boy, and then we have law. We have other, either, boy, and law. So we actually have 4 answers. And if you do label encoding with those, so you just sort of assign each of them a number, and then you do a distant-based method like k-nearest neighbors, if, let's say, you said boy was number 1 and other was number 4, your model is going to assume that boy and other are farther away from each other than, say, boy and law. And that's not necessarily true. So instead, we'll have, for each unique answer in each column, we're going to create a new column. So our data is going to get very wide. And yeah, we'll just deal with that. So right now we have 24-ish columns. We're going to expand that. And I know that scikit-learn has a way to do that. I'm just going to Google it real quick, because I don't keep that information in my head these days. Used to. Oh, nice. Okay, I can finally see the Twitch stream chat. If you've been saying stuff and I haven't been responding to you, I apologize. I just didn't see it. So feel free to repeat yourself. I don't know why I'm holding my breath. Scikit-learn, 1 hot encoding. SCIKIT learn, 1 hot encode. That's the one. All right. Make big. Encode categorical features is 1 hot numeric array. That's what I'm looking for. The input to this transformer should be not that kind of transformer. Like it transforms the data, not it's a transformer deep learning model. Array-like of integers or strings. I got strings. Denoting the values taken by categorical discrete features. Got that. These features encoded using 1 hot, aka 1 of k, or dummy encoding scheme. This creates a binary column for each category and returns a sparse matrix or dense array depending on the sparse parameter. I think I'm okay with it being sparse. We'll find out. Is sparsity a problem for Canon? Is sparsity a problem for Canon? And if you're not familiar, a sparse array is just one with a lot of zeros. Sparsity problem in KNN from cross-validated. Degree of sparsity of the data gradually increases. The speed of reaching the smallest MAE value becomes slower. When the degree of sparsity in the data increases, the rate of decline of MAE becomes faster. Okay. Gradually increasing degree of sparsity. Okay, it looks like it doesn't matter a whole bunch. This is not super. This does not show a great degree of difference for sparsity. So we're just gonna do a sparse one, I think. All right. And I'm looking for the coding examples. Here we go. All right. So you create an encoder, which I'm going to need to create and then save to use for the participant responses. And then fit, and then categories. Do I need to specify each of the categories? Because that's going to take forever. As I get feature names. One can always drop the first column. One can discard categories not seen during fit. Given a data set with 2 features, we let the encoder find the unique values per feature and transform the data into a binary 1 hot encoder. Yes. All right, let's just give it a shot. So first thing we're going to need to do is... nope. Why can't I copy and paste? Why is it so hard? It is. All right, and I will pop this to the top once I'm for sure we're going to use the library. And I know this is one of those things that drives people nuts about notebooks, but I will import a library like in the cell where I'm using it, and if I end up not using it, I'll just delete the whole cell, and I don't have to go through and clean my imports by hand. Not that I do it by hand, I use black, like hopefully lots of other people, but Schwentanzu? Oh, I'm definitely saying that wrong. I'm so sorry. You don't have to pass it to the categories. Oh, fantastic. It seems like one of those things that should be automatic. It is a watermelon flavored tea, and I've been burned before by teas that like smell amazing and then taste like nothing. And it tastes like watermelons. It tastes like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. It's amazing. It's from the Hella Tea. I think I tweeted about them a while ago. Very delicious tea place. All right. So we're going to... I don't believe we have any unknowns. I think all of the questions have answers. And I'm assuming that's what handle unknown does. And then let's see what they do. Inc.fit. Dot fit. Unrelated question, what's the flask in your activity bar in VS Code? Flask in your activity bar. I don't know where the activity bar is. This? Test. I don't think I've ever clicked on it before. Yeah. That's what it is. That is this is blank. Yeah, good question. I don't know. I've never used it. All right, so what are we doing now? We are doing encode fit, and then the data. So data, and then it will create. I'm gonna pull this back. Go to categories. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's modifying this encoder object. Yeah. It's going to create categories. Okay, so the encoder object is what we're going to want to have out. All right, transform, inverse transform, feature names. All right. So, let's give that a shot. Categories auto, drop none. Okay, so it didn't remove any of the columns, which is good because you don't have any that are... We shouldn't have any homogeneous columns because we've picked columns particularly. We've picked particular columns where I picked questions that were highly discriminative is the sentence that I was trying to say there. So that are good, like, features for separating stuff. So we have the encoder, and let's transform. So we should be able to do inc.transform and then give it the data. All right, and now we should be able to data encoded.head, give it a little peek. Not found. Head not found. This is too big. If I print this out, I'm gonna give myself a problem. Is it not? Transform an array. Oh, I see. Okay, so do I have to specify that it is for that it's going to be a data frame? Okay, so here's my options. Array, dense. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Hello. Algam says, I watched all your YouTube videos. Very helpful. Oh, thank you. And Suntatsu says it's probably an array of arrays. Also, I know I'm saying your name wrong, and I apologize. All right, let's just give it to array a shot and see what it looks like. All right, now. Is that a pandas thing? It is. Okay, so now it's a NumPy array. And I want to see like the top N. I just want to peek. Summarize array Python. That's what I'm looking for. And listen, I'm not the only person who wants this. As their equivalent to our summary in NumPy. Describe? No, you'll need to use pandas. Okay. Did I imported pandas, yeah? Did I not import pandas? I must have, because I have... No, I've definitely imported pandas. Okay, so why is autocomplete not working? Describe option. Maybe it's a function of the array? I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, it did not work. P.DataFrame NumPy array. Give that a shot. Neversad says, why is it called a one-hot encoder? Or called a hot encoder. Yeah, it's one hot specifically. I do not know. I used to know. I read something. It's like, I want to say it's like an electrical engineering thing about like wires being hot, aka having electricity in them, but I don't know that for sure. That is a, that's something I would Google, so I'm gonna give you that job. All right, so, Shwatanshu? I know I'm saying this wrong. This is frustrating to me. I wish you could just, like, tell me. I do know IPA. If you have an IPA keyboard, that would be helpful. Ravi says, what's type of data encoded? It is a NumPy array. We got a, there we go. All right, so we have, that seems like too many. 73,000 columns. Okay, something's wrong. So it looks to me like what it's done is it's been, oh, every row is unique, and it's given every... Wait, no, that wouldn't work, though, because that's... It now has more columns than rows. I was expecting, like, 200, maybe. This is way, 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 way too high. I did something bad. What if I don't have it that way? No. I want the structure. I want to know what it is. Is it dot type or does that only work within pandas? Okay, I think that only works in pandas. Get shape. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so it got big when I transformed it. Why? Why is it so wide? This is surprising to me. This is not the This is not what I expect. Says try it as a function type variable. Oh, thank you. I think there is a little bit of a delay, so I think that is probably why we've had sparse CSR matrix. Oh, interesting. Okay. I need a code example. I'm just gonna look up a code example. I think that's gonna be faster. Let's pull that up. One of Dan's old ones. All right. Pandas offers a convenient function called get dummies to get one hot encodings. Let's use that instead of whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay, so, and that's just in pandas. So let's do that above here. And then if it works, we'll just delete everything below. What was it? So, although I will say this variable name is way too long. So data, what am I going to call this? I'm just going to call this encoded data. Boop. All right, no errors, fantastic. Dan, what do you do next? Plug it directly into this random forest. Okay. Helpful. Applying to multiple files. Oh, okay, that's it. Now it's encoded. All right, let's check it out. Let's try encoded data.head. Check it out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. 175. That's what I'm expecting. Fantastic. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. None of the rest of this. You know why it was so wide? Because we on One Hot encoded a float with very high precision. So every latitude and every longitude that was even slightly different from each other got a new column. And because every row has both a latitude and a longitude, we ended up with extremely wide data. Mystery solved. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, all of our input is categorical. It wasn't all categorical. We have the target variables, which are latitude and longitude. And they were not categorical, and they were included in the One Hot encoding, and they sure got encoded. So, mystery solved. That does make me happy. I'm just going to delete all this. Goodbye. Peace out. Yeah, so all of these columns where like each one is unique is because the latitude and longitude were unique. Mystery solved. I'm feeling a little silly, but I'm glad I looked it up for code example because this is much easier than what I was doing. All right, so now we have encoded data. Fantastic. We do need to So the big problem that we have here is I don't know how to export the encoder for this get dummies. This get dummies function, right? So Natsu says, yay. Yay. Yeah, no, I'm happy. Unfortunately, we've introduced another problem. So if we'd been using an encoder that we did like the whole, fit transform thing, then we could just export the encoder and it's got a specific quality that has the like mapping of which variable goes to which column. Unfortunately, I don't know how to do that for this get dummies thing, which I ain't never done before. Multiples. Sensitive to the ordering of columns. Yes. Ensure that the data is encoded in the same manner as the training data with the align command. Get dummies. One hot encoded training predictors dot align. Test predictors, join left. So, the thing with this Get Dummies is, it's not going to create like infinite columns for every category, right? It's only going to create a new column when it sees that a category has a different value. And if we're passing in one case at a time, every category will have exactly one value. So we're going to end up with a much smaller, right, data set than the original one. Which means that the ordering doesn't matter because they're going to be different sizes. So this would solve our problem pretty easily if we were doing batch prediction, but we're doing online prediction. So instead of waiting for a bunch of answers to come in and then doing them all together and then passing them back out like as a group, we're doing it one by one every time that a person runs the assistant. So that's going to be a problem. Okay, so here they're going to keep the columns in the training data, which is good. So it's going to add additional columns. Fantastic. But the problem with this is that means that I'm going to need to have the training data in my assistant. And I want to open source my assistant. I don't have permission to share the training data. So what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to create a dummy training data that is the same size. Yeah? Actually, that might be easier. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like sample one row, make everything false, and then check that it's the same size. Ooh, my voice is kind of going. So what do I gotta do now? I guess I'll just replace all the values with 0. I think that's going to be easiest. In order to match this with our FUNCTION. So in order to A-line, match us with our user responses. Rachel, you're really bad at spelling. Yep, I am dyslexic. We'll use the align function, which requires with a left join, which requires. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a dummy row, we're going to do left join, and then we're going to delete the first row. Requires a data set to beans. Data set to join to. So we'll create a data set of a single row and then delete it after the align plus join. Now, this is not a super elegant solution, hopefully, and if it's dumb but it works, it's not dumb. That's my personal philosophy. So I think we'll do it that way. I'm sure there's some way to like rummage around in the internals and figure out a way to do it in a more lightweight way. I don't care that much. So I'm not gonna do it. If any of you have a better solution, feel free to like tweet me a gist or something. I'd be happy to take a look. But yeah. Again, we're only gonna have to do this once every time somebody goes through the assistant, so I don't think it's gonna be that big of a problem. Bilal says, I can't find the notebook. So this notebook is not available because I'm working with data that's not available. So you could like look at the code, but you couldn't run any of it basically. Yeah, unfortunately. But the assistant part of it is going to be open sourced. So it's a little bit funky. What am I doing? So now I need to create a data set of dimension 1. I want the first row. Is that gonna work? It ain't gonna work. All right. Dot head. What if I just want 1? Yeah, excellent. And then from there, I want to change everything to 0. How do I do that? Pandas change all values. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'm sure there's a command for it. Nope, this isn't helpful. This is talking about replacing values conditionally, which is not what I want. Panda.series.replace. That could do it. Looks like somebody's asking my question. How to set all the values of an existing pandas data frame to 0. That's what I'm looking for. I like to copy my data frame, but replace all those values with 0. The objective is to reuse the structure of the data frame, but clear all current values by replacing them with 0. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. How do you do it? The absolute fastest way, which also preserves D types, is the following. I love to do things in the absolute fastest way when it's easy. No, I guess absolute fastest includes like my time as well as compute time, so. Whoop. Name df is not defined. Yep, that'd do it. So let's call this vestigial data. I don't know, I need to give it a thing. Bilal says, watching is too efficient for me. Enough, thanks. What am I doing? I want to create a data frame. What do we call this? Structure example? Oh. I feel like empty head almost is a good boop, boop. All right, and then if we look at data structure, structure. Nope, that's definitely wrong. 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, no, it worked. Okay, yeah, okay, everything is 0 now. Excellent. So then I'm going to, it's write CSV, right? Right. Nope, not Excel. Save pandas df as CSV. That's what I'm looking for. Swinpantu says, replace old new, in place true is faster. Oh. Oh, it's just 2 CSV, so. Data frame has no attribute to CSV. That's because it has an underscore in it. I don't think I'm going to change it, though, just because I have it working here. Index equals false. Oh, thank you. Helpful. All right. And it should be called empty data structure. Should be in here somewhere. Where you at? Ooh, where is it at? My data ain't in there. It should save it in just the local directory if I don't, which is this one, right? Latitude, longitude. Yep. Oh, there it is. Empty data structure. Fantastic. Just a bunch of zeros. Great. Medium great. The column names are going to be a little bit of a problem, I think, unfortunately. Maybe not, though. Because you see there's question 58 has a space in it, which is not ideal. For now, though, I think like a lot of them have spaces in it. That's just one that I picked up. So I think it'll work well for single word answers. It'll work less well for others. And you know what? We'll cross the rest of that bridge when we get to it. So, wait, I don't actually want to save anything. Okay, I'll just rewrite over it. So what do we have? We have our one hot encoded data. This first row. This first row is nonsense. I feel like it didn't used to be nonsense. Yeah, no, it did not used to be nonsense. And then, data structure. Is this a pointer? I thought it would create a new subset. I thought it would create a copy somewhere else, but it looks like it's changing. Okay, so I thought what I was doing here was I was creating a new copy of part of the data frame that was a separate object, and then when I manipulated that object, I would not be manipulating the basic data frame. It looks like instead I am manipulating the basic data frame. So this actually feels a little bit like, this feels like data table where everything's been modified in place, which I'm a big fan of the tidyverse idea that you should always copy data rather than modifying it in place to prevent data loss. So how do I stop it from doing that? I think that's to copy use 0. Like so? I think I done it wrong. Pandas create copy. Do I have to say copy? Do I have to physically type out the words copy to show that I don't want to do it in place? Yeah, I do. Well, that's frustrating. Okay. So that works. Oh, I see. Encoded data 0. Let's try that. I think that's a little bit more elegant. I messed up somehow. I'm just going to assume that's user error and do the thing that's working, even if it is a little bit less Pythonic. All right, we fixed it. Well, that was a mismatch between my belief about how Pandas was doing things and the way that Pandas was actually doing things that I discovered, thankfully sooner rather than later. All right. And I'm actually gonna make a markdown cell to say what I'm doing here. So, one hot encoding. And this is, what would you call this? Oh, it's toggling. Not. It's toggling and taking away my ability to type. Once more. Markdown. Just gonna type something and then toggle. There we go. Not actually reverse geocoding everything. All right, excellent. And I guess that also answers our question about should we actually go through and do reverse geocoding for everything and then do things on like city-state level instead of using their geographic location? And the answer is no. It's just going to take too long. And get rid of you. All right, so we are one hot encoded. We are good to go. One thing that we are going to have to do that I'm going to give myself as a little note for later is, I was doing level 2 header here. We're going to have to handle them. Actually, I think it's going to be a to-do in here, in the one hot encoding. To do handle the column names. They are no good. They're not going to work as right now they have spaces. So I think that's what we're going to do next time on Friday. We got to handle those column names. We got to get the spaces out of it. I don't think most... I don't know what we're going to use for K-Nearest Neighbors. Probably something in Scikit-learn. But I don't think most K-Nearest Neighbors libraries will accept column names with spaces in them, just because that's poor practice in general. We might not have a problem, but also we might yes have a problem. So we'll find out. All right. My bad. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate the help. Always. So, yeah, I'm going to call it here. So what we did was we decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and we're not going to do one hot encoding. Or sorry, we are doing one hot encode. We're not going to do reverse geocoding. Or to be more accurate, time complexity is... The time that it was taking to do things was not a function of me writing bad code. This time. Sometimes it is. When I was in grad school, I didn't know about nesting loops, and like I hadn't had... No, that's not true. I did know about them on a sort of like a theoretical level, but it had been a couple years since I'd taken any computer science classes. And I wrote a script with a lot of nested loops, and it took 24 hours to run on the lab cluster. It was like 11 rows. It was awful. Anyway, I learned my lesson. Don't write nested for loops. That's my lesson there, particularly in R. But this time, it was not my code. It was, in fact, just that it takes a long time to search and do the reverse geocoding. And because we have so many columns, I don't think it's worth it. So we just decided not to do it. And what we did do is we did one hot encoding, and we figured out how we're going to import the encoder, and basically we're going to do it by having a little sample data set that we will be using to fit our new data set to it. The big problem here is that we need to make sure that we do whatever we do to change the column names to our other data as well. Otherwise, we're going to have... when we do a left join, we're going to add columns instead of mapping columns to the correct ones. So that's just for the future. To replace spaces in columns. Yeah. All right, we can give that a quick shot. Thank you. And let me... There we go. Someone on Twitch TV said 24 hours. Yeah, it was not good. It was, to be fair, it was doing like a very repetitive signal processing task that would have taken me far longer to do by hand. So it did end up actually saving me time, but it was a slow one. Did learn my lesson. What was I gonna do? So working off your suggestion. So let's try encoded data dot columns. Replace. Nope. This is in brackets. Little lambda function, and then so we're replacing with nothing with an underscore. No, surely there's a space in there. I'm just not seeing because of YouTube's awful font choices. For call in. All right, so now when we look at head, always do that backwards. I don't know why it's that one in particular that always gets me, but it sure is. We should have no spaces. Fantastic, thank you. We just need to remember to do this. Oh, we do have some punctuation though. Maybe it won't be a problem, we'll find out. I do gotta make sure that I do this in the other way as well. Rachel with the PhD in linguistics is way more qualified than I am for NLP stuff, but it depends on the project. Like, I know a lot about the stuff, like the specific stuff that I've done, but there's plenty of stuff where I'm still learning. I would say that I'm going to spend a lot of time working with container orchestration for the next little bit and really learning about it, and I'm looking forward to it. No, I'm looking forward to being done with it, but it's a lot of just like conceptual learning and like weird names for stuff that did not seem very intuitive to me, so we can do that journey together. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna call it here. Tomorrow, I need to post on YouTube about this. So we are doing the Raza reading group. So it'll be me, and I believe tomorrow Vincent is joining me. And we're going to be talking about the GPT-3 paper. We're not going to read it all the way through top to bottom because it's real long. We are going to pick up some of it, and later on, Maddie is going to be joining as well. She's fantastic. If you haven't watched any of her stuff, you should definitely go check that out. And that'll be on Thursdays at this time slot, so 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific, or whatever it is in your time zone, which will be change in relation to Pacific time. But that's where I am, and I schedule a stream, so I'll pick something that works tolerably well for me and is also in reasonable time zones for most of everybody else. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. We got a lot done today. I'm pleased. I think hopefully on Friday we're going to build the classifier, and then we can export the classifier, and then we can put it in our assistant, and then our assistant's going to work, and we will all be delighted, and then we're going to put it into Raza X, do a little bit of conversational driven development, because we've been prototyping for about 6 months, and I will say I don't really work on this outside of the stream, so it's been, maybe, I don't know, 50 hours total, maybe, that I worked on this project. So not an unreasonable amount of time, especially given the complexity of what we're doing. But soon we'll be done with prototyping, and we can start actually talking to the assistant, and y'all can talk to it, and it'll be great. All right. So I will see you tomorrow for paper reading, and then on Friday for more live coding, and yeah. And then if you're tuning into the Widening NLP workshop, I'll see you on Sunday. All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'll talk to you later, and bye.